Shalom. Welcome back. Here we are. We are almost finished with the ancient Song of Moses. I'm so excited to be doing this with you. We will definitely finish it this week. So, thank you for all of you who have been praying for my neck, by the way. Still got some pain, but right now I'm doing all right. I appreciate that. I was able to exercise an hour, 15 minutes today, hoping to work through it. I don't want it to derail our health missions that we've all, or many of us, have taken this year. Let me just start with an opening prayer. Avinu malkeinu ken yehi ratzon ki lekachnu yihye tov be'einecha balayla hazot. Bi Adonai tishlachna et shlomecha aleinu ve'alei kol Yisrael. Ta'azena Abba et kol talmidai. Tishlachna lahem et chochmatecha. Matai anachnu koreim בספרך הקודש. לכל הדברים האלה אנחנו נברכך בזכות ישוע HaMashiach. All right, let's get started. So today we are in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 41. Yay! Let me just scan it first. And actually, let me make myself smaller and the text bigger. Almost there. Oi. There we go. For those of you on smaller devices. All right, let's scan it. Im shanoti brak charbi v'tochez b'mishpat yadi ashiv nakam letzari velim sanai ashaleim. Sorry, I was blocking the last word there. Okay, aleph mem im. So this can mean a lot of things. If you've learned it already, you probably learned the gloss that it can mean if. So we'll just be literal for now, and over time you'll start to see how it can work. If shanoti. Now this guy could have a few different meanings. So it really kind of depends how you read it. In fact, the Samaritan Torah scroll is lacking the vav, which really opens it up for another reading. Let's see here. Okay. Oh. So, first, shanan, which is to sharpen. An example we see of this usage in post-biblical Hebrew is in the Dead Sea Scrolls 1QM. And if you're curious how that works, the QM, this is about Qumran. I almost said Qumran. Qumran, and the first number tells you which cave they found it in, right? So that's the nomenclature. So first cave, Qumran scroll, 17, so that's the section, and then like verse 1, or they also use columns and such, but anyway. Veshanan cheli mal milchamata, and he sharpens, or sharpened, it could be either one, his weapons. Kili can mean like instruments, things, but in the case of milchama, we know it's weapons. His weapons for the battle or for warfare. Okay, so shanan, sharpen, that's one possibility here of what's being written. Another example, it's possible to understand this is the verb shana, number one, the lamed hey verb, especially if we look at the Samaritan reading, to change. Abarbanel, Rabbi Abarbanel, takes this approach here, writing, when I alter it, aiming it no longer at Israel, but now at the enemy nation. So there's a couple different possibilities here, and Abarbanel's pretty heavy hitter. By the way, if you're not recognizing him there, we're not exactly sure how to say his name. Some people think it was Avavranel, some say Avarvanel, some say Avabranel, and I decided a long time ago to settle with Abarbanel. All right. The reason being that this is how the translator Karasik translates it, and I had thought it was that before, and so I thought, okay, let's just stick with this guy. He's a pretty nice scholar. All right. So you got a couple different meanings here. It could be sharpen. The im could mean win even, right? So when I sharpened, or when I changed, I altered, I'm going to go with sharpen, like we have in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Brak charbi. Brak charbi. So Barak, this is not to be confused with Barack Obama. Ugh. This is Barak Beit Reish Kof or Kuf, however you read that, which means lightning. Lightning. And then this is a construct form. You can tell because the comets under the bait has become a schwa. The a became an e. So Barak is lightning. Berak is lightning of. This happens with lots of words. You'll see this pattern. So for example, kadosh, right? You get that ah sound that comes. Kadosh. But if you want to, that's holy. But if you want to say the Holy One of Israel, you can say Kedosh Yisrael. Kadosh is holy or a holy one. Kedosh is holy of or holy one of. Kedosh Yisrael, the Holy One of Israel, right? One of the divine epithets for our God. So Barak, flash or lightning of charbi. Charbi. This one's a little bit more difficult to recognize. What's happening is it is a segolet, which means it's a noun that has like an pattern. Usually you'll see the segols, the three dots arranged like an upside down triangle, or kind of like a hazmat symbol. So cherev means sword. If you're just listening, that's chet, resh, beit. Cherev, cherev. And so just like the word melech, which is also a segolet, melech, mem lamed kaf, with in there. If I want to put a suffix on the end, those segolets, they revert back to a more ancient spelling, is really what's happening. So like Canaan. Canaan might be kind of class like this. Or there's some other words that are that might have been kind of the family where segolets came from. So melech is king, but if I want to say the king of me, and I put the e at the end, I don't say melechi, I say malki, malki, like in the name Malchi Tzedek. My king, the king of me, is tzedek, is just, is righteous, right? Malchi Tzedek. My king is just, my king is righteous. There are some other possible ways to translate his name, like if it's a yod compaginus or the older genitive, meaning it could be king of righteousness, right? This is possible. Some other possibilities too, without going into the whole pagan Tzedek name. So, charbi follows malchi, my king, my cherev, my sword. So, barak, charbi. Since that last word is definite because it has an ending, it's not anybody's sword, it's my sword. So then we're going to say the in front of it. So, the barak, the lightning of charbi, of my sword, which probably is being used poetically to mean like my flashing sword, right? He unsheaths the sword, it catches the gleam of light, and you see it, right? So im shanoti, if I sharpened my flashing sword, brak charbi, vetoches, vetoches. If you're just listening, it's vav, that's the and, t, that's tav, for you or she, and then the verb is aleph, chet, zayin, achaz, which means to grab or to seize. So vetoches. So sword, cherev, is actually feminine. Okay, vetoches, and she seized bemishpat. The bait, that's an inseparable preposition, with mishpat, justice. Justice. And this is actually a construct chain. Oh, no, it's not. I'm sorry. With justice, yadi, the yad of e, the hand of me. So if she seized with justice, my hand, my authority. Sforno has an interesting comment. The fact that Hashem is using et barak charbi, this is against Israel, right? My flashing sword. This was only the flashing appearance, Rabbi Sforno writes, not the pi hacherev, not the mouth of the sword. the part which devours flesh, the part which actually does the damage. So the idea is that the intent in allowing the nations to punish us on Hashem's account was that we might see the brak, charbo, the lightning of his sword, the flashing of his sword. Like you just pull it out, you see it reflecting the light, right? Not the p, which is the pay of the mouth of his sword, which is what you call the blade in Hebrew. The blade of the sword is the mouth of the sword because it's the part that eats. There's a lot of similarities. A lot of things like this happen beautifully in Hebrew. For example, when Avraham Avinu shalach et yado, he sent out his hand, the machelet, he's holding a ma'achelet. This is a butcher's knife or a slaughtering knife used in preparing a sacrifice. But the root of it, ma'achelet, is achal, aleph, kaf, lamed, achal, to eat. You see? It's the part that eats the flesh. You see, there's a lot of this kind of thought that happens in biblical Hebrew. Very, very alive when you read it. And sadly, oftentimes flattened to kind of be dead or boring even in English. This is why when you read in Hebrew, even verses that usually seem boring in translation, they come alive in the Hebrew. There's assonance, there's alliteration, there's the root of the word, which doesn't get caught up in the translation. You don't see it in translation that it's got this attachment to eating or to mouth, right? Or to lightning in this case for flashing. It's literally the lightning of my sword, the flashing. The I don't know if there's a way to say this poetically in English. Maybe somebody, Maeve or somebody else, one of you, which are much deeper in English, can let me know. There's a like the glint, perhaps the glint of my sword. Yeah, maybe that's it. But still, it loses some of the power that the Hebrew has, right? The depth of the poetic language that Moshe Rabbeinu is using. Okay, how you guys doing? Doing all right? All right. The toches, and it will grab, or it grabbed, it seized, the mishpat with justice. Yadi, my hands. Now, mishpat's interesting. With the parallelism here, it almost seems like it could be the name of a weapon. And the Jewish scholar Tigay, modern scholar, has an interesting comment that's right behind me. So let me get out of the way here. Go. All right. He says, judgment in the light of the parallel term. I said justice. Mishpat can also mean judgment. In the term blade, literally sword. And the parallelism of arrows and sword, which we're going to get to in the rest of the verse. In the next verse, mishpat must mean a weapon of judgment, an instrument of punishment. The Mechilta, he's talking about Mechilta Yishmael, of Rav, Mechilta de Rav Yishmael, that's the Aramaic title of it, interprets it as an arrow, serving as a metaphor for a decree of punishments. Interesting, huh? So even the mishpat here, it's hinting about some kind of weapon, and in the next verse we're going to see that it could actually be an arrow or like a special arrow with a name. You know, like sometimes the Europeans would name their swords, right? So some maybe something similar happening with even the arrows being named. There's a special arrow called mishpat, and we even see this carry over with Rabbi Shaul, known to us in the Greek as the apostle Paulos, right? When he, of course, frames the famous verse about the uh, the the sword of the spirit, right, and the shield, the breastplate of righteousness, and all these sorts of the weapons themselves actually have names that are related to principles or attributes of Hashem, right? Which, if you dig deeper, you can make a whole drash, a whole sermon out of this. Is a metaphor, I believe, like a longer lasting metaphor, going way back to Genesis, how we were made B'Tselem Elokim, as imagers, as the late Dr. Michael Heiser used to teach, may he rest in peace, of Elokim, of God. And whenever the sages say that when the text uses Hashem, Yod He Wav He, we're usually appealing to the merciful attributes of God. Like have mercy, oh Adonai, that's Yod He Wav He. Rachem na'alai, have mercy, please, on me. Right? But when we refer to him as Elohim, or in prayer Elohim, We are appealing to his mishpat, his justice, his deen, that he would arise and judge the situation and rescue us with his mighty tzedek, his mighty justice slash righteousness, which in Hebrew is one single concept. You do not split justice from righteousness. It's the same thing. Living by Torah Hashem is living righteously. All right. By the way, if you're here in the live chat, love to see you guys. If you're watching this later, please leave a comment down below. I greatly appreciate it. Love to hear from you. Everyone is welcome on this channel. Everyone who loves the God of Israel. So we're hoping to reach everyone with biblical Hebrew. So if you are an Orthodox Jew, we have many of you studying with us. You're welcome here. If you are a Hebrew roots person or a Messianic Jew, you're very welcome to be with us. If you are a Christian from whatever denomination, you're very welcome to be with us, or even Jehovah's Witness or Mormon or Iglesia de Cristo or any of these other groups who love the God of Israel. You're very welcome to be with us. We're happy to have you here. We only ask that you love the God of Israel. That's it. So, you will have to excuse me because I will see the text through my own eyes, my particular denominational understanding, which is Bnei Israel. That is, we believe in Hashem and his Torah, and we also believe that Mashiach has come, and we know his name, our master, Yeshua HaMashiach. All right. So, let's see, I'm blocking now. Sforno. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, so far we have shanoti, brak, charbi. When I sharpened brak, that's the barak, the lightning of charbi, of my sword, which you could say means the glint of my sword. The toches, and it seized b'mishpat, with justice or judgment, yadi, my hand. Ashiv. Let's continue now. Ashiv. So the aleph, that's ani or anochi. I, shiv. What the heck is shiv? Now, shiv, it's a hollow verb. Shuv. Shuv. Stuff is frozen on my screen. One moment. What's happening? Did you get disconnected? Shalom. Oh, I thought it was pause. It's not pause. Oh, and we're back. Sorry about that, folks. My second display got disconnected somehow through the weak router. So, and then I thought it was paused, and it was not. Sorry, you had to see all the weird screen stuff. I don't think I'll have time to edit that out, so just forgive me for that, please. All right. So the verb is shuv. Oh, no. Come back. Hold on. What are you doing? What are you doing? 9. Shuv. It's a hollow verb. Sheen, vav, bait, and the vav disappeared. All right. So sheen and bait are the only letters left from this verb. But there's a yod gemmed in there right before the third letter, which is our indication that it is hifil, a causative form. So shuv is returned. Ashuv is I will cause to return. I will bring back. I will bring back. So I will bring back, or I will bring to. Bring. What's he going to bring? Nakam. Nun. Kof. Mem. Nakam. Which is vengeance. Revenge. Nakam. Nakam. Hashem says, Li nakam, vengeance is mine, or Li nakam, to me is vengeance. So he will bring back, he will turn it on, is one way you can think of it. Ashiv, I will turn nakam, vengeance, or revenge, letzari, to the tsarim of I, to my enemies. Velim san I, and to the mesan I, my haters. Really, that's the first one. I should have rendered that as to my adversaries, right? It's from tsarar, from which we get in the participle form a noun tzorer. A tzorer is a kind of shomer, right? You might know the psalm, Hine lo yanum velo yishan, shomer Yisrael. Behold, he doesn't slumber, he doesn't sleep. The shomer, the protector, the guardian, the watchman of Israel. One of God's titles. He's a shomer Yisrael. By the way, shalom to anybody in Moscow over there at Shomer Israel. So a tzorer is like a kind of shomer, but it's a bad one. It's someone who's looking out for your downfall. He wants bad things to happen to you. Maybe someone's got an evil eye towards you. They're a little angry that you know a little bit more than them. And that hurts their narcissism or something like this. And so it's an adversary. And then in parallel, we have the root word sana, sin nun aleph, which is to hate. So mesanim are haters. It means enemy, but again, I was talking about the richness that we lose when we flatten the language down in translation. So you could translate that enemy, you could translate them both, enemy, but adversary meaning someone who's watching, really an enemy who's watching for you to fall, right? He's on the lookout, like a shomer is on the lookout for someone who might be coming, so he can sound the alarm. A tzorer is on the lookout, wait for you to mess up, wait for you to trip. And a mesaneh is an enemy, but it's one who hates you. It's really a hater. Like, it's kind of nice in recent years. We have this used in English. Don't be a hater, right? Sometimes I get haters on the channel, like someone will complain about the pronunciation I use with the different sounds and stuff. Or, I had one guy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I won't get into it. That's fine. Those haters that kind of surface up, you can tell. Sometimes they're from the anti-missionary ilk, or sometimes there's just, one of these things. So, anyway, God bless all. May you all learn here, and may I learn too. So, ashiv, I will turn on. What will he turn? Nakam, vengeance, towards tsarai, towards the tsarim of I, to my adversaries, the ones who are looking for my downfall. And to mesan I, that's the mesanaim of I, my haters. Enemy, I'm just trying to bring the Hebrew through in the English, but it's my haters. Ashaleim. I will shalem. So the root here, the verb is sheen, lamed, mem, shalom. In the call, shalom is to be whole or complete. And that's where we get the word shalom from. Okay? There's other words we get from this. There's the shelem sacrifice, the shelem, which is a segulet. So we had up above, we had charbi, so it's cherev, sword of charbi. Well, my goodwill offering, oftentimes translated peace offering, just because of the proximity to shalom. I don't think that's a good translation. I think like goodwill offering is better. Shalem is a goodwill offering. My shalem is shalmi. Cherev charbi. Melech malchi. Shalem shalbi. See, they all follow that kind of same pattern. So maybe you can get used to seeing that. Now, this is from the PL Binyan. You can tell by the strong dagesh inside the lamed. It means there are two lameds there. So shilam, the PL usually is an intensified meaning from the call stem. So shalom is to be whole. Shilam is to cause to be whole, right? Or to declare whole, to make whole, something like this. Sometimes it overlaps with hifil. So it can mean to pay back a debt, like to repay, right? To repay. Because the person's not whole. You took something and now you repay. Or it can mean vengeance. I think I told you guys before. I think it was here. In Russian, Russian is kind of funny. Like if some guy punches another man, someone else can say, "Dai ему сдачу," like give him his change. Right? So you're not whole, you gotta pay him back. You repay him. So it's similar in Hebrew. So to repay can also mean to take revenge. Okay. So, and that, of course, is what fits. That's the meaning. We nail that down from the Hebrew parallelism with nakam. Nakam, vengeance. Shalem, I will pay back. I will repay them. I'll make it whole. I'll make the situation whole, Hashem says. All right. Let's read through again. Try to translate before I do. Aleph mem. That could be if or when. shanoti, from shanan, to sharpen, which is where we get shein from, tooth. Brak, charbi, when I sharpened the glint of my sword. V'toches, and it achazed, aleph chet zayin, it seized b'mishpat, with justice, or I almost combined judgment and justice, with judgmentis. It's kind of painful. There's one word in Hebrew that works for both, right? It can mean judgment or it can mean justice, mishpat. It can also mean tradition, actually. With justice or judgment, yadi, my hand. Shiv, I will return, or I returned, or I turned on. Something is going to turn on, like turn it around towards somebody. Nakam. And nakam here, in poetry, it's very common if you have a suffix at the end of a word, like yadi, the yad, the hand of me, you can borrow that suffix and apply it somewhere else. So it could be that instead of nakam, that Moshe Rabbeinu is intending nakam, right, the vengeance of me. Okay. Letzari, to the tsarim of to my adversaries, those people who are tzorez, they're looking out for my downfall or something bad to happen to me. Ve limsan ve, and li, to mesaneim, the haters of me, which you can render as enemy, but you're going to lose some of that flavor in Hebrew. Ashaleim. Ashaleim. I will take revenge. I will pay back, literally. I will repay. And that can be for good or for bad, the repay, right? So, although there are other words that are more often used, even when Hashem is talking to his people about repaying something for the good deeds, for example. Okay, let's just see here. All right, maybe we'll just read it through one more time in Hebrew, and that may be all we do for today. Okay, we still have time to finish the whole thing this week. Okay, I'm just going to read through. Just do your best to understand. Im shanoti brak charbi, v'toches b'mishpat yadi, ashiv nakam letzari, v'lim sanai ashaleim. How'd you guys do? Hope you enjoyed. I think we had a decent lesson, right? We got stuff in there from the sages and from modern Jewish scholars. And it's a pretty lengthy verse. 2 more verses to go, and we will be finished with the Song of Moses. Please leave me comments down below. Special thanks to my monthly supporters. I really appreciate you guys. You make all this stuff possible. And please keep praying for our ministry that we may continue to go to all the ends of the earth to bring people back to Lashon HaKodesh. The heritage, it's the heritage of both Jews and Christians. Shalom, shalom.